Hi, welcome back to Sam Spans the World. I'm your host, Samantha Bremekamp, and you're probably wondering, why am I playing with sticks? Well, you're never too old to play with sticks. But also, this is a prototype for the much larger version that you and I are going to try to build outside in my garden to go along with the climbing sweet peas, which grow up to 12 feet and make a beautiful sweet pea tent that can be enjoyed with kids, or a photo shoot for your dog or cat or yourself, or just look cool to change it up in the garden. I've never done it before, so we're going to learn this together, and I'm really excited that you're here with me. I hope you have a good snack, you're with a good friend, even if it's yourself, because you are your best friend, and let's see what happens. You might be wondering why I have a collection of sticks like this. Well, this is going to be for the sweet pea teepee. But first, I'm going to amend that soil because I don't know what its situation was because I'm new to this yard. So first we're going to do that with a little miracle grow. And then I'm going to attach these. They need to be really tall because sweet peas can go up to like 12 feet. And so when we were trimming a tree, I realized that I should save some of these really good branches because they're going to make an awesome teepee, which will be really fun. Sweet peas smell so good. They climb, they make beautiful flowers, and it's really fun for kids to have a teepee if they come visit. Um, but you'll see later, Marmalade, our new rescue puppy who's napping right now, she will absolutely be getting a photo shoot in that as the progression continues. But one thing at a time, and puppies need to nap, so I can't wait for you to meet her. You're going to love her. And in order for me to do the teepee, I'm going to tie ends together on the ground first because I'm very short. And these branches are very, very tall once I put them upright. So in order to be able to figure it out, I'm going to tie them on the ground. I'll show you how to do that. And then stand them upright. That way I'm not getting on a giant ladder to try to situate the sticks for the teepee because, balance, klutziness, whatever. We'll do it the easier way, unless you're super tall, and then, stop bragging. Okay. One thing at a time. So this is where the sweet pea teepee is going to be built. But in order for it to work, I need to amend the soil because the soil has been here longer than I have, and I don't really know what the situation is. So I've added, and I'll keep adding, a couple bags of the Miracle Grow garden soil for in-ground use. I'm going to work it with this really fun medieval looking contraption. It's great for fighting, reenactments, just kidding. It's really good for the garden because it helps you loosen up the soil without breaking your back. Oh, someone's getting a delivery. I hope it's me. Well, it might be somebody. Hold on. There we go. It's very, very important to till your dirt. You want it loose enough so the roots not have to fight too much because you want everybody to immediately take and, make a big difference. I'm not sure. Oh, yeah. Look how easy it is. It's easy because this is soil from a bag. When I did the tilling earlier, directly in the ground, because I'm not the strongest person, I had to use this, put my foot on it in order to break up the dirt that's underneath here, which was exhausting. But absolutely doable, despite, how strong and gigantic I am. So don't give up. It just takes a little bit of perseverance and a little muscle, whether you have it or not. If you just fake it, you'll make it. I just discovered something kind of funny. I didn't realize that these can come apart. Whoop. How dare you? These can come apart, which is awesome for cleaning. I had no idea because I'm so strong and I was just tilling. One of these came off because it got twisted around. So you can put it in. This is a flat, squarish shape, right? And you put it in here and then it locks into place. You can tell because the other ones are locked appropriately. I love learning things. That's awesome. I was super sad for a second because I thought I broke it, but I didn't. So now we all know a new cool thing. Seriously, look how easy this is. Okay. I'm going to keep using it, which is why I'm not going to clean it right now. But you just pop it right in. And then you can twist it. Whoop. You want to make sure it's twisted the same way as the other guys so that they all stay in. But it's a really cool party trick. And it's really great for cleaning because it's important to clean your tools before you put them back in the shed or in the garage or wherever you stash them. Because you don't want them to just, rot. But the more you know. Who knew? I had no idea, but now we both do. Right? All right, so that should be good enough and enough dirt for the sweet peas, which I grew from seed over winter. You've probably seen them in a few episodes. And now they're like really, really, really ready and dying to get out. So we're going to plant them. But first, we're going to build our teepee because you don't want to put in plants and then risk hurting them or having to move them because you forgot that the teepee should go first. Just a little tidbit. And something else I'm going to do, because the teepee, these will go on the outside of it, I'm going to sprinkle in seeds for flowers to go inside of it because it's going to take a while for these to, all summer, them to grow tall and big enough and flower. And the smell is amazing. So inside the teepee and around the teepee, which will be getting plenty of sun because it's going to take a while for this to envelop it, I'm going to sprinkle zinnias. I'm going to plant coral bells, some perennials, which will be really fun because they'll come back every year. And again, with gardening, you want to do things that bloom at different times. So you always have bloom. So you're not just depressed because it's like one and done for a part of the season. Just a recommendation. You don't have to do it, but you really should. Oh, hello. Thanks for joining me on the ground. In the shade on this glorious spring day. It finally feels like spring. The sun is shining. The shade is protecting us. And I'm about to do the very important part of, when you're trying to build a sweet pea teepee, you want to match up these branches by size. It'll be easier, and it's much easier if you do it on the ground, because if you're not tall like me, it's going to be really hard. Bee, excuse me. Just want to point out, you notice I didn't panic with the bee, so the bee realized I wasn't a flower and he couldn't get anything from me, and he moved on. I didn't have to freak out. Of course, if you're allergic to bees, definitely allowed to freak out. But if you're going to be a gardener, you have to understand that you need bees. So you can't just kill them all or chase them away or whatever. They need to feel comfortable around you, so they leave you alone just now. Prime example. So anyway, we're going to find one. This is the biggest branch. I'm going to put that aside because I know that that's not going to be matched by anybody else. Because he's going to be the big papa. But now we start to do size order. Whoop. I don't want to mess up the flower bed I just made. And how are we going to start? We're going to take 3 sticks. I'm going to take some gardening wire, and we're going to attach them on top. And that will be the foundation, the base of our teepee. And then I will add branches to that. Now, because they're different heights, it's not going to be super easy to match it up because it's not not a professional teepee maker. Those are a good height. They match perfect. But I feel like this will be the easiest way. This is the first time I'm doing this, by the way. And people make them look so beautiful. So, okay, so far, so good that these are all the right height. These aren't, paid actor sticks. They're sticks that we chopped off of a tree when we were pruning it and that I kept because I realized that since I was growing sweet peas, I was going to need sticks in order to build a proper sweet pea teepee. Okay. I'm just doing a really good job here. It's really easy to match up stuff. This big papa, too, is shorter but I thought it'd be good for helping to, I don't know, counteract weight. I'm not an engineer, but I'll try. I'll try anything. So we have sticks, we have them lined up by height. We're going to start to connect them, and then eventually we're going to put them over into the area where they're going to live forever. Well, with the ground that I've already worked, I've already amended and added more soil to it. And then we're going to put the TP with the sticks firmly into the dirt, tied up with wire. And then I'm going to plant the sweet peas. They happen last. They get planted last because, thank you, Bird, you don't want to plant them and then realize as you're trying to put the TP over there that you have to move them or you end up damaging them and you're going to be like bummed out. And we don't want that. So we'll be doing that. We're going to put up the TP. We're going to plant the sweet peas. And then I'm going to shake some zinnia seeds that have not yet grown, like the ones that I grew over winter. I used half of them, which I've put across the garden. And then the other half, I just wanted to see how they did with direct sowing. They're supposed to do really well. So I thought it would be cool if we put those in and around the teepee because those will grow much faster and before the sweet peas really have a chance. Sweet peas are going to take all summer. So we're not going to see the awesome sweet pea finished teepee until August maybe. But in the meantime, I don't want it to look like a hideous, weird piece of art. I want it to look beautiful, so I'm going to add flowers that will bloom before, during, and after. Because I can. Because as you're a gardener, you're also kind of like a wizard in the fact that you're making really cool decisions to continue to have things blooming. So everyone in your neighborhood loves your yard. So you love your yard and you have a happy, fun place to go work in. But anyway, I'm going to turn this off and take a nap because it is gorgeous out. Let's start attaching things. Okay. So with this TP, I noticed that one of these, like whenever I put them in the correct heights together, I realized that there was a fork on top, which I left for some of them. So I thought it'd be helpful in making a teepee. So that's where I'm going to start. This is going to be the start. I'm going to secure it as high up as I can. Because sweet pea teepees, which is just fun to say, you should just do it for no reason, can grow 12 to 15 feet high if they have something good to grow on. So I'm using gardening wire that I'll wrap a couple times just to secure it. You don't want to have like a gust of wind come in and put the kibosh on something you've been working very hard for. You want to secure it. And I'm also going to anchor them after, but there we go. Look how strong I am. Okay. So now we'll twisty tie it because I'm an adult. And now we have our first sticks ready. I'm now going to add a third, and then I'm going to stand them up. That's the best way I can do it. I'll probably have to get a step stool or whatever at some point because I'm not tall and you can't build a teepee on the ground the whole time. You could start it and I'll start sections and then put them together. But in the end, you're going to either have to magically become tall or you have to use like a step stool or a ladder to get up there to make sure everything is fastened and secured. It's going to be fun. It's going to be great. Look for good sticks that are all the same length, that are strong and sturdy, and some that have that awesome fork on top because that makes it easier for you when building. Fine. You'll see what you have available. Some people just use one pole in the middle and then tie a bunch of string down it to all of the sweet peas that they then train to go up it. That's another way you could do it. If you just have like one pole, like a flag pole or something, what a perfect opportunity for you to take sweet peas that you've grown and put it around and train them up the flagpole. It look beautiful. Just a thought, just a suggestion. It's your sweet pea teepee. You can do it however you want. This is how I'm going to do it. I don't have a flagpole, so. Oh, hey, fancy seeing you up here. I got a ladder for this awesome tent. that's going to be enveloped by sweet peas by August, September-ish. And I have some things, some garden wire. I'm going to try some baking string that has a little sparkle, because of course, why not, right? And some gaffing tape. And we're going to see what works out best. And the next part should probably be a montage of me trying, failing, and trying, and succeeding eventually at tying up all those sticks to make sure that they're structurally sound and not have to worry about wind or a chipmunk knocking them over. So there they are. And we'll just look. Okay, so it wasn't the easiest, and it's not beautiful, but I have created the base for the TP, and now I'm going to be adding the string. So I'm taking the baker string that I like to wrap presents in, and I'm doubling it up and starting at lower nodes because we're going to train the sweet pea vines up the string, and they're going to eventually just do it themselves, which is awesome, which is how you train things like, for example, all of the cucumbers or sugar snaps that some needed help, so I used twisty ties, but then eventually they're able to grab on their own, and you're able to gently redirect them and just help them along. Wow. Look at all of those delightful roots. Super pumped and primed and ready. I do a little detangling, which I'm used to with my long hair, so it's not going to be that bad. And it's going to do so well, it makes it into the ground. So before I attach it, I'm going to plant them all around, and then I'm going to start to secure them to their spots. But could not be easier. I think the hardest part is detangling them, which when you do it, you will do it a smarter way to not allow them to attach to one another. But, you'll do it smarter. You'll do it earlier in May and not before that. And then that way I'll have enough time to grow without getting tired of being in its planter for too long. You may want to use a detangling spray or comb. Just kidding. It's not hair. It's sweet peas. Okay, so I'm nice and comfy on the ground. I have planted all the sweet peas that have already sprouted and are long in a circle around the sticks. I've added the baker's string that's going to help guide it. And just like with cucumbers or sugar snaps or pumpkins that are vine pumpkins like Jack Be Little, you're going to gently train it. I'm using string because it's soft, it's gentle, but it's strong. And you marry the plant and twist them together with the string. And sometimes if I need to, I'll do a gentle, very loose knot on the bottom. But the point is that this is going to keep growing up and you're just going to keep helping it wind up. That's how you train vines, right? You're not using commands and dog treats because apparently, I don't know if you've tried it before, but it doesn't work, which is depressing. But I've gotten more than the dozen or so that have already sprouted, and I've put them in my favorite paper towel that's wet, and they've sprouted in a couple days, which is awesome. And the tip with sweet peas, you might have caught it on an earlier episode, is to just nick the seed shell a little bit because it's a really tough shell, and that helps really get things started and allows it to sprout and start leaving the shell much faster than if you were just sitting, hoping, wishing, and awaiting. So forgive my gardener's manicure, but that's what it's going to be for the season. and get ready to see these get plopped in the ground around in a circle. And together we'll watch the progress and hope that the chipmunk doesn't eat all of them. I have all different varieties. I have the Sweet Dreams, Summer Love, one that's high scent, and one that's Galaxy. I don't know anything about them, but they read like they would be cool. Obviously, some have like really, really much stronger smell, which is why those were chosen. And then others have like really pretty different color varieties because it's going to look awesome. And so I'm just going to try a bunch of different ones out, having never done this before, so that we can learn together and see like what works and what doesn't. And it's fun to see the different things sprouting up amongst this because I've already thrown in a very chaotic way, Shasta daisies, echinacea, coreopsis, California poppy, hollyhock, and I'm going to, after I plant these very close together in a circle and an inner circle, because we want to layer up, I'm going to then shake the zinnia seeds that I have left over. The zinnias that I had started over the winter and have planted now have done wonderfully in a transition, but they're such a hardy seed that you can totally just throw them into the dirt and gently, rake them into it for them to start and do great just directly outside, which is awesome. They're fairly hardy and they're beautiful. So let's see how this goes. I'm going to use a super skinny spade to plant the sprouted sweet peas. I'll probably end up just using my fingers like I do, but it's always fun to pretend that you're going to use the tools. I like this one because it's skinny. This dirt isn't that deep, and it doesn't need to be that deep for sweet peas, but still, it's nice to start out with a tool and realize as a gardener that you're just going to end up using your hands, and your gardening gloves, you're not going to find them, and that's the gardening life, which is fun. But I'm going to place them in between the already sprouted ones so that there's a lot of volume when they do sprout and climb up together to create like a veil of sweet peas, which is going to be really fun. I'm not going to plant them too deeply because I want them to be able to grow through this dirt. I had already worked the dirt, as you saw. I was tilling like a villain with that really crazy looking tool that looks like a bunch of spikes, and that came apart, which we discovered together, which was so great for cleaning it. Not deep, plopping them in. I'm going to give them a big soak after I shake in the zinnia seeds, and then we're gonna have to, be patient, water them every day, and see who makes it and who doesn't, and learn from that. Because even if you're the most grizzled gardener who's been doing it for a million years, things always change, whether it's nature or the pH level in your soil, or things are growing and now blocking what once used to get a lot of sun. Like, you always have to adapt. So it's important to not lose hope, and to realize that this is an ever-changing marathon and obstacle course. And it's not always going to be easy, but it is worth it. And it's a wonderful way to meditate so you can focus on something that has nothing to do with your job or real life. Songbird, on cue, like always. Okay, I have the last batch of the pre-started sweet pea seeds that I put in paper towel and added water to. And I've been making a trench row around an inner circle and the outer circle of the already planted sweet peas. And we're just going to see how it goes. After I do this, I'll shake on the zinnias, water it, and slowly but surely we'll see it all come together, and it's going to be awesome. So thank you for taking this journey with me and figuring out how to do it. And when it's time for you to try this, either this year or next year, you'll be fully prepared, unlike me in the beginning of this. So over Valentine's Day weekend, when I went to Glicks and took my mom, which was so fun, we both got these zinnia tubes, and you saw how well they did when I started them over winter. And now you see a lot of husks and then the seeds. So I'm just going to liberally sprinkle them because I don't care about spacing or overcrowding. This is an experiment and it's a flower garden. You do what you want and it works out. Nature can survive so much. So Please don't get out your rulers or try to like sketch out, measure, and put exact things. If you get too controlling in the garden, it takes away from the fun. And you get really upset if the things don't go exactly how you plan, because they're plants, they're going to do whatever they want. So you may as well also. So let's do the shake. Let's do the shaking more. Okay. So now I'm going to water it and use that crazy tool to just loosely, help it sink into the soil a little bit. And now we're going to sit back and watch and continue to help our sweet peas and stuff train to go up and create a fortress. And in the meantime, the flower garden is going to be awesome in between. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be cool. Fingers crossed that any of this works. It's an experiment. Now loosen up. And the very last step is taking that shredded straw that I shared with you and throwing it like confetti very lightly, very loosely, so it protects, but it still allows things to pop up without, taking away sunlight and things from plants. If you see that you have some heavier spots, just, remove the straw and just gently put it around, because you see sprouts and everything coming up from the earlier seeds that we've planted, and we want to guarantee their growth and not take away from it, but we also want to protect it from wind, weather, plants, critters, garden burglars, anything, while still allowing it to establish itself and to mature and have a really fulfilling life in our garden that we can then brag and show off about. And that's it. That's all you need. It's pretty easy. Doesn't cost that much. And fingers crossed. Most of the flowers around the sweet peas that I've planted in here, either chaotically or with purpose, are all perennials. So I don't have to worry about doing that again next year. And I'll be able to start collecting seeds to share or to spread across the yard and the garden and the different areas. So thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of Sam Explains the World. In this edition, we really focused on building and growing a sweet pea TP tent and how to protect seeds that are already in soil. So thank you so much for stopping by, and I can't wait to see you next week.